What does it take to inspire the next generation and make a real difference in the community? Today we sit down with someone who does both, James Rodriguez, shaping futures right here in Boca Raton.
Welcome to today's episode of the Digital Mayors Podcast.
Whoop, whoop.
I am Dan Nathanson. This is my brother Michael.
Hey now.
And today we are super excited to have someone that truly represents the heart of community service and youth leadership. We're here with James Rodriguez, the teen program director at the Peter Blum Family YMCA of Boca Raton. And we go way back with James, right? And today we're going to dive into your journey a little bit and your work with the Y, maybe get into a little bit of work outside the Y, and really how you're making a big impact locally. James, welcome.
Yes, sir. Dude, look at that face.
Thank you for having me.
It's
Thank you
beautiful.
for
Come on, man.
sharing your platform. Thank you for allowing me to be here. I'm super stoked to spread some good word and enjoy some good vibes.
Yes, sir.
Thanks.
Yes, sir. Let's jump right in, my man.
Come on.
So we first met Mr. James. I still call him Mr. James,
Mr.
by the way.
James.
We met Mr. James when Michael Jr. was first enrolled at the YMCA. And now we've known each other for, it's been like 10 years, 10 plus years, something like that.
And it's how old Michael is. Yeah.
So I just want for the record, what was your first impression of me?
Don't hold back, James. I remember.
That's not fair. No, because we were doing parent orientation. And we were in front of all the parents. We were talking and discussing in regards to what this summer is going to look like. And I made the comments, and I said, I believe we will have the pleasure of dealing with your kids this summer. And Mike, in the beautiful fashion that he has, he said, dealing with? And I knew that wasn't the best word after he said it, so I didn't disagree at all. But in my head, I was like, he's gonna be a great guy this summer. It is gonna be a pain in my behind. Woohoo! And he was front and center row too. He was right there. He was like, you are not missing me. So. And want to be a pain in my butt?
So love is pain in the butt.
No, I was saying how many years later now, and still pain in the ass?
Oh,
Yes.
amen.
Yeah.
Yes.
No question. But at the end of that first summer, I came to you. I came to your wife on the field. You had registered Mikey for after school. And I was like, I told you transparently. I thought you were going to be a pain in my butt. But I appreciate you. And you've changed my mind. And I was wrong. And my bad. I straight up said it. I didn't hold back.
You weren't wrong. I'm what do they call it? A nudge. I'm a nudge. I like to stir the shit.
And an advocate, an enthusiastic advocate.
That I am.
Amen.
That I am.
Passion.
So, Mr. James, tell us what it is you do at the Y with the teens and how you balance that with everything else.
Deep breath.
I do what I love to do every single day. I get to work with different teens in our community, different teens that's inside our YMCA, and we get to program and create different programs for these teens, whether it be volunteer programming, whether it be just social programming, and we really get to be a support system for our community. Yes, we are a teen center. Yes, we are a YMCA, but we've really been able to become a teen hub inside of Boca Raton. You can't Google teens in Boca and the YMCA now not pop up.
I would not Google teens in Boca.
So you're right. Okay. Well, you can't look up teen programs in Boca and the YMCA not pop up. My bad. You can't look up teen programs in Boca.
Ben, do not cut this clip. Do not cut this clip badly for my friend James.
But it's real, and it's a great. We really get to be a program and a space where teens can grow and develop and have a great time. Man.
Yeah, for sure.
Right, and listen, you've been with the Y for a long time now, right?
16 years.
16, like baby,
somewhere around there.
Brand new.
So
And
you started when you were 4?
Oh yeah,
Just about.
Basically.
Amen. You know what I'm saying?
just about. And listen, you're a product of the Y, right? I've talked to your mom, and she has told me how much the Y did for you as a kid.
Yeah, my mom couldn't pay for the Y growing up,
Yeah.
which you could for a couple months, and then that went completely away. And she needed a place to come, and she had to pull us out, and the Y said no.
So awesome.
Isn't
Been
that
here
cool?
since.
And by the way, Jalissa, the Y, whoever made that happen, right? Thank you, because to have James helping our kids, helping our community. I don't have kids. I got nephews I love. I was added to that negative clip here. I appreciate children all the time. No, I can't, there's no way to say it. But what James does for our community and for the kids it's immeasurable. Like, I can't tell you how many people we've talked to that know you and know what you've done, and kids and families you've helped that don't say that you're a special person in a big, good way.
Well, I mean, I appreciate any of that, but it was Janice and Julie that kept me, just so you know.
Yeah.
I still see Julie to this day. Still thank her every single time I see her.
That is
So
so
cool,
cool,
man.
So cool. And so listen, so the programs at the Y and the stuff that you have been involved in and part of and run have made a huge impact on other families. To you, what makes working with kids, and now as the teen director, what makes working with them fulfilling for you?
It turns full circle.
Mm-hmm.
It comes full circle eventually. And it's believing it's going to come full circle. It's understanding that the work that you put in and the time you invest, it's worth it and has a value. And you see it, especially in the teens and especially in the long run of things. You see teens that really have mental health struggles, and you see teens that really have family struggles and are really have real situations they're going through. And I have the opportunity to be in a situation where we can empower them through that. You know, we can't fix things.
Right.
The family unit
support
needs, but we
guide.
can be that place where you can watch these teens develop and grow, and you see it, and it's amazing. And we really can give back to the community and be really a hub for the community.
Right.
And it's not just talk; it's actual real work.
Yeah, that's so cool. I love that.
So cool, dude. Now, you've had a huge positive influence on our youth. What's been one of the most rewarding experiences for you?
Good question.
Not to put you on the spot.
Yeah.
It depends on how you word rewarding experience, but
Selfishly,
really, it's
rewarding.
When I come into work, I walk down the hallway, and I see teens that started with their YMCA at 12 years old,
Right.
5 years old even, and are supervisors now and are running programs, or teens that, like I was saying, really struggled, and I know their story, and they're walking through the Y with a smile. That's not something we'll always have, and we always get to see. So really being able to see that return on your investment, and understanding that not every situation ends well.
Yeah.
And all you can do is be there and be that constant, and understand that you can't change everything, but you can have your little fingerprint on it, and you work your hardest to do that.
Listen, and a lot of times I imagine that little fingerprint makes a big impact, right? Because I mean, I know somebody who has gone through the Y, starting it, aftercare or pre-care, like all that fun stuff, who didn't want to volunteer, right? What was it? Didn't want to go to camp, and went through, worked with the kids in Chase's place, and has now figured out a career that they want to have, helping kids with differences and special needs, right? Like, you're making an impact.
Yeah.
I mean, that was just one phone call we had.
Yeah, listen, I look at it like this. So obviously, I coach sports over at the Y. I coach basketball, and a lot of times these kids can't wait to run to me to tell me something that happened at school or whatever it may be. And I'm just like a small part of that. I can only imagine how much of an impact you make, how people are running to you to tell you. I mean, shit, I do it. I come to you to talk to you about stuff, right? So I imagine that's like got to be such a cool feeling that people can't wait to tell you stuff.
It is walking into a building and walking into an environment where you're surrounded by positivity, or you're surrounded in a situation where somebody trusts you enough to come to you and say, hey, I need help with this. It can be a very powerful feeling. It can be a very heavy feeling. It's a burden that you may carry. Like during COVID, when you looked at me and said, keep my kids safe, you have no idea the burden that put on me. You didn't do it on purpose. There's nothing you did on purpose. But so it's that catch. It's that both sides. But we love it and we live it. So.
Yeah.
What was it? Spider-Man's uncle said, with great power comes great responsibility. Something like that, right?
Good pull. Good pull.
That's pretty good. Right? Uncle Ben, or I don't know, whoever it was.
Uncle Ben.
I think he made rice.
Whomever.
They changed the logo.
Right. And by the way, the name that I hear yelled more in the YMCA than any other name. James, James, James. Yeah, like,
Yeah, unfortunately, they're looking for me, and they need to go figure their own stuff out.
right.
Mm-hmm.
But
But I love it.
People come to him. People come to James.
Yeah.
Whether it's for I need help, or oh my gosh, I did this, and looking for a pat on the back and some affirmation, or just love. What are the teen kids? What do they call you, Papa J? What are they?
Look, there's numerous nicknames.
Some you can't say here.
Yeah,
Some of them
we'll
are
just
good.
say Mr. James.
Mr.
There you
James.
go.
James.
Mr. James.
Well, listen, you
Keep
know,
it
when I
simple.
need something, I have the CEO's cell phone number. I got the director's phone number. Mr. James, I need to talk to you.
No, it's simple. He sends me a text message that, hey, can you call me? Yeah, I got you. Give me a minute.
Is it? Look, hey, you up? Is that what this is going on? Whoa.
We do see him late night sometimes.
We did, walking through the neighborhood.
Walking through the neighborhood.
Right?
Yep, the
Hey,
dog.
by the way, we got coyotes in our neighborhood right now.
Oh, yeah, be careful.
There are 2 coyotes in the neighborhood. Like somebody told us, one of the neighbors told us 2 days ago, like the size of a good German Shepherd.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we have them on cameras.
They've been there for like a
couple of
month and a
neighbors-
half.
Yeah, a couple of
That's
neighbors
tough.
have them. Yeah, so just be careful, you and Gabby and the pup walking through. All right, so let's switch gears.
Amen.
How about literally?
Okay.
Let's switch gears. So James and I organized together the Distinguished Gentleman's Ride for Boca Raton. And for this past year in 2020, what year is it? 2024?
2024, yeah.
Holy shit. The Distinguished Gentleman's Ride is a worldwide event. It's a motorcycle ride that happens in cities all over the world.
Slow speed.
Slow speed, safe, fashionable, right? The Distinguished Gentleman's Ride. And it's a ride to raise awareness and money for men's mental health, prostate health. They work sort of in partnership with Movember. And we pulled that together this year. That was, it was fucking cool. Right?
Yeah.
We pulled it together quick. I had pneumonia for 6 weeks, so I wasn't involved. Like there was a lot of stuff going on, but we pulled it together. Mr. James pulled it together, and I helped a little
No,
bit.
teamwork made the dream
It
work,
did.
brother.
It did, and we had an amazing ride. We had pretty much everyone after the ride said, "Oh my God, I've done these rides before. This was the best one yet." Like that was
course it
so
was.
cool. And
It's cool as hell.
we've already talked a little bit about potential route for next year. And let me ask you this: how did last year or this year's ride resonate with you? And what are you most looking forward to for next year's ride?
So this year's ride, I love to ride.
You
know
rode,
that.
You rode here today.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you rode
You
here.
know that.
We ride together every
When
once
we
in a while.
ride together,
I love it.
when we say where are we going, we're riding.
Yep.
There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Anybody that's ever ridden with me knows we just ride.
Yeah.
So I had seen the first ride. We went on the
Yeah, we
ride
did it.
together.
Yeah.
Beautiful ride.
Yeah,
Amazing
down
ride.
in Broward County.
My only hiccup was they stopped for a lot of alcohol.
Yeah, a lot.
And I
I
love
didn't
to
know
ride, and I love to ride safe. And I feel like you cannot consume alcohol and ride a motorcycle responsibly,
Especially in a big group.
especially in a large group. If
There
you
might be
wanna-
some laws against that.
If you want to do whatever you want to do on your own personal time, I
Right.
still wouldn't recommend it because
Of course.
it just bad look for everybody. But yeah. So we said we're gonna do it ourselves.
Yeah.
As we got closer, we connected. You said you had pneumonia. We said we can't do the ride. I said, okay, no worries. Next year, we move on. There was the conversation ended there. I signed up for the ride in Boca Raton.
Right.
I was like, oh, Dan, bro, this is so cool. Guess what? Someone else is doing a ride in Boca. We didn't even have to do it.
Yeah.
So I sent him the link, and he goes, that's our ride.
That's our ride.
And I was like,
Yeah.
there's 35 people signed
Right.
up for
We're
this.
like, oh shit, I guess we have to do
And
this
then
now.
I sent him a text
I
message.
didn't
like,
even know that.
Oh yeah.
if
You didn't tell me that.
35
That is
people
so
have
freaking
signed
cool.
up for
Yeah.
this,
We have to do it. That's
no
just it.
question,
We're
we're
doing
doing it. I was like, if you give me a thumbs up that you're down to put in the hustle and put in
Yep.
the work to make this happen,
Yep.
I am also. And you said
Done.
we
Right.
put together the route. It's actually a route we take normally,
Yeah.
which was
Yeah.
it's a route
Beautiful,
we take all the time.
fun, nice. And right, and called where it's safe and responsible. We called the police stations of every city along the way. Want to make sure that there
You
weren't
did all
any issues.
that. You took care of the logistics.
Listen,
I
again,
took care of the
teamwork.
ride.
Teamwork makes the dream work. But again, right, we did that, made sure we rode the route. Rode the route? Is that English? We rode the
Rode
route.
the row. That should be a song.
Right, rode the route. Ben, can you do us little drums on that? All right, there you go. All right. But, rode it to make sure that we were good. My brother was awesome, and you let him use your pickup truck with the ramps.
Well, I was going to ask, how did you stay safe and hydrated? That's the
So,
most important
That was
part.
all you, brother.
we were very intentional about that because last year it was stopping for alcohol and it was just me, Dan, and then Anthony. We were just sitting there chugging water.
Right. Oh,
Like
yeah.
not
it's a
doing
little warm
anything,
out.
just
Hot as
like
hell.
chugging water the whole stop. So we made sure, I was like, we're gonna have water, and we're gonna make sure that we're safe. We have to have a trailing vehicle. So
Yeah.
Mike jumped right in my pickup truck. He was like, I drive stick, kind of, maybe, not
been-
really.
Yeah,
been a
I think
minute.
the last time I did it, I was literally like 20 years old.
And then had figured it out though.
I didn't stall, not even once.
Chugged that bad boy forward, and
Yep.
he had the water for us at every single stop. We had hydration for everybody, and we had a beautiful ride.
It was awesome. I'm
was-
looking forward to this
yeah.
next one too. It's
And I
gonna
just
be
want to
better.
let you know, in solidarity, I did not turn on any air conditioning. Because if you guys are sweating your asses off, I want to sweat my ass off too.
You're an asshole, and I love you.
My AC doesn't work that well, so you would have also been surprised. No, it works. Just can't be too hot outside.
In the truck or on the bike? Because the AC on my bike sucks.
Bro, the AC on my bike is great. The vent right here.
Well, at speed.
Amen.
Stopped? Not so much.
Oh,
I got to say, for someone who is anti-motorcycle, not because they're not fun or cool, just safety is my number one rule in life, and I hate it, but I'm glad that you guys love it. It was so cool. It really was. Everybody had such a great time. It was very impressive. Super proud of you guys for that. It was awesome. Yeah.
That was nice.
So let's talk about something fun. We may have talked about this before, but let's talk about it. So we always love talking about food on this podcast, okay? So Mr. James, what's your favorite local restaurant here in South Florida?
I gave you my Puerto Rican restaurant last time, so I got to change it up a little bit here. My favorite local restaurant in South Florida. That's a really, really good question.
Thank you.
Because I struggled with it last time too.
Listen, it could be the same place. We're going to have some different
Struggle's
people
okay, Mr. James.
You know
Because
what?
then you come through on the other
My
side.
grandma's house.
listen. Oh,
Yeah?
It's not. Oh, it's private.
yeah?
Private?
Restaurant?
Private.
Reservations only?
Invitation
No,
only?
no reservations made. Not allowed.
Yeah, only by invitation.
What does she make?
Strictly when my grandma
Mofongo.
makes together simple white rice, black beans, and the pinir and that pork shoulder. Whoo! And then she dices up the onions and she puts the oil in it, and it makes you emotional. It really does.
Did your mom learn from her?
My mom did learn some things from her.
Yeah.
They have very different cooking styles, though.
Because listen, I
Completely different
did
cooking
have the
styles.
pleasure of being invited to after a motorcycle ride
Of course.
to maybe it was the ride last year.
it was
after the Distinguished Gentleman's Ride last year.
Yeah, well, the 2023.
23. But to come back to James's mom's place, and she made, you can't laugh at me, this fucking guy. But she made pork. It was awesome. The rice, everything was amazing.
So good.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was a fan. I like that. All right. And so, besides grandma's place, favorite local dish? Doesn't have to be at someplace.
Favorite local dish at any place?
Yeah.
I love food. So I'm gonna go with some masitos.
Oh, yeah?
There's like the fried.
The little samosas?
No, the fried pork chunks.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Like Cuban fried pork
All right.
chunks.
Chicharrón.
No, chicharron is different. It's
different?
You ever had I talked about last time, the chuleta cancan?
Oh, yeah.
Bro, it's a huge
pork
pork
chop?
thing with a oh, so good. I love pork. Or a picanha or a nice dry aged. I dry aged my own steak once for like 90 days in the fridge using a bag. Oh, that was delicious.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll never do it again because it took way too long and it was not worth it at all. But it was delicious. No, it was not worth waiting 90 days in my fridge and buying the whole
up the
ribeye and
space.
taking no, and trimming it and everything and all the stuff people do in the fancy videos. Was it worth it? No, not at all.
No.
But it was delicious.
All right.
Speaking of that, do you ever make bacon or anything?
I was going to ask.
I have bacon for both of you guys in my fridge.
I heard that like
All
2
right.
weeks
It's
ago.
a piece only this big. but
That's
I have
okay.
a slab
That's
for
okay.
both of y'all in my fridge. It's already cured. It's already set. It's waiting for y'all.
Mr. James makes
Just,
it.
just
makes
put it
his
in my
own
mouth,
bacon.
brother.
Well, you want to cook it a little bit more.
Oh.
For it's sous vide, but you want to sear it.
Yeah.
You slice it and sear
Yeah,
it. Because if not, it's just going to be a little
Rubbery and
Yeah,
gray.
it is cooked though. It's cooked and cured already.
Okay.
All right, bacon it is. All right, so one thing we really like to do is to discover and highlight what makes South Florida a great place to live, work, play, and give. And you have so much experience through the Y. Can you share a few South Florida gems you think that more people should know about for their families, for their kids?
A nice, fun place. It is a little bit deep into Miami. It's in Homestead. It's the Fruit and Spice Park in Homestead. A lot of people have never been there. It's a really big park. It has like fruit, locally grown fruit, and it's seasonal. So depending on the time of year, you can get fresh bananas that you see there. They have fresh mangoes you see there, and you can buy the fruit that's there that's fresh, but you can really kind of explore the park. And if you have kids, you can show them a different environment. You can kind of spend an hour to get down there, eat, and then spend an hour to get back, and you spend a whole day.
Right.
But when I actually read that question, that was one of the ones that I sat on a little bit longer, because I think that the gem is South Florida. And a lot of people don't realize that. Just go outside and take your kids to the beach, or spend time without a phone, or spend time at a park, go to Sugar Sand, go wherever, but be intentional about the time that you spend with these people that you call family. And I think you can do that almost anywhere in South Florida. It doesn't have to be, you can just go outside as long as it's not a terrible weather out, but as long as it's pretty good weather, you can really just go outside and get lost and enjoy the fact that you're here.
Yeah.
And I feel like people don't do that enough.
Yeah. I mean, listen, that's one of the things we love most, right? Is that we have this amazing climate, and most of the time it's beautiful weather.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're fortunate.
Best place ever.
Yeah.
So, right, you talked, like Dan asked about like where you would take kid, where you go with the kids and stuff. How about for you personally? Is there a spot that's like your spot?
Honestly, either one of two locations. I'll take my motorcycle all the way out west to Loxahatchee, 441 in Loxahatchee, and just take my bike all the way out to the end of the Everglades and just look.
Throw rocks at alligators.
Hey, by the way, out there, he's making fun of me. So there's a levee that goes along the Everglades, north-south. And I was brought out there. I was invited out there one time.
It's like a mafia thing.
I made it back. But I had purchased a bicycle at the Hillsborough bike shop on Hillsborough Boulevard in Deerfield Beach. And oh my gosh, Damaris, who works there, said, "Hey, Dan, we're doing this ride. You should come with us." And there were maybe 30 people met out there all the way at the end where it turns into dirt. Park your vehicles there, get off, get on your bicycle, and you can ride. They said you can ride up the levee like north-south, like 100 miles.
Wow.
And I only went maybe like 10 miles that day, maybe 5 miles out and back. But you're on the levee. On one side is, Parkland and then Boca. And then on the other side is
Nothing.
the Everglades. And
Snakes and gators.
Snakes and gators and bears and cougars. But my brother's making fun, saying about throwing the rocks at alligators, because when I came back, there was a man fishing at the edge of the Everglades, right there. And I said to him, "Sir, there are 2 alligators right there. I know you can see them. I said, will you do me a favor? Please just step back a little bit, because if you slip and fall, I won't be able to stop myself from trying to help you, and I will get killed. Please." And so this guy says, "Oh, no problem. They're fine. I fish here all the time." And he threw rocks at them. They did not move. Nothing. I'm like, oh, I sat there and watched him for like 15 minutes, and then I couldn't take it anymore, and I left.
It's that Florida man.
Yeah, man.
It's that Florida man. Can't stop him.
He is no joke. All right, so sort of back to work a little bit. I imagine that running the youth programs, the teen programs, can be as challenging as it is rewarding. What's been, you'd think, a big win that you've had, and maybe a tough lesson you've learned in working with the kids and with the teens at the Y?
Our teen programs are a huge win.
Yeah.
We just hosted a rally this year, with 200 teenagers all around the state of Florida.
Yeah.
Any and all of my teen programs are a huge win. But the fact that we can support as many families as we support, the fact that we were able to support 22 foster kids this summer, it's a win, it's a win, it's a win. Every single moment. I've had foster kids that have been put back with their families and have celebrated, and then they return back with us next summer, which means that they unfortunately aren't with their families anymore. For us to be that constant for them and to be the place they can call home when home may not be a nice
stable spot.
There's no loss there. No matter the time, no matter the effort, no matter the energy, there's no L you really take in that situation.
Yeah.
It's just
It's learning, right? It's how to maybe help differently in the future.
Yeah, no, and it's how do you prepare yourself? How are you prepared for the situations? How are you prepared for your work? How are you prepared for what's about to happen in your day? And it just makes you a better version of yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, listen, man. I mean, you have helped my family personally. Both of my children. You have been.
Yeah, and us too.
Yeah, I mean, you have been a beacon of light for both of my children, and I think you know how much I love those kids. It means the world to me. As a matter of fact, the reason why we're so involved with the YMCA
This guy
is
right here.
all because of you. Just so you know, all because of you.
100%.
Because your passion, your help, the way you handle yourself, it's beautiful. You're a special person. I'm sorry, I'm getting a little emotional. I mean it. And it's because of you that I'm so involved. And when people ask me why I'm so involved or what it is that I do, I tell people, listen, there are many different causes out there, and whatever you believe in, that's great. My cause is children. I want to make sure, and I say this probably 2 or 3 times a week, I want to make sure that no matter what's going on at a child's home, whether it's death, divorce, job loss, terrible family, whatever it may be, that they have a safe place to go. And they have somewhere where they can go to learn how to swim, play sports, go to aftercare, go to camp, and they know that they're safe and they're surrounded by love. And that's what I fight for. That's why I always ask you people for money, because we need it. Because believe it or not, Boca Raton, Florida, where everyone thinks it's all the money in the world, 1 out of every 3 people that walk through our door at the YMCA in Boca Raton needs some sort of financial assistance. 1 out of 3. That's why I always ask for money, just so you know, because we need it for those. For me, it's for those children.
And I will tell you, just, I don't mean to segue or jump, I'm sure it's going to be discussed later, but it's used. I have to use it. I have families that come to me where there's unfortunate situations and a parent passed away, and they're like, Mr. James, what can I do? For us, that's where it comes from. You know, we have bills to pay, we have stuff we have to do.
Yeah.
That's what the membership covers, but the money's used, and we're in the middle of our campaign right now. We're trying to raise like $300,000, and we're
So about halfway
like
there.
halfway there, but we can't stop, and we're gonna need more than that. There's no way that that's gonna be enough, because just alone, my teens need it, they use it, and I have teens that need to be in my facility, and I don't turn my kids away.
Right.
I got teens that need this. It's not a want.
Yeah.
If they're not here, they may not
Be anywhere.
yeah, or they may end up in a situation. And the second part of your question was, I believe, was the hardest
Lessons.
thing, the
Yeah,
lessons
like
I
a tough
learned.
lesson. Yeah.
Life's short, dude. One of my teens passed away,
Really.
and it happened this year, or maybe last year. Sorry, November. Johan, and he was on my basketball team, and he was an amazing kid, and life changes and things happen, and he overdosed and he passed away.
Wow.
And it really just, you have the moments you have with these kids, and you don't know what's going on with their life, and you don't know what their next steps are going to be, and you hope that whatever you're discussing in that moment and communicating in that moment will make an impact. And you know, I really tried to be there for him while he was still here in Florida, and we were going to church together and everything. And then he moved to New York during COVID, and things just didn't work. And, and it changed me. It made me want to be better, because I can't get another phone call like that again. That's real.
Yeah.
I'm not doing it. So.
Listen, man.
That was my
That's a
tough pill
lesson.
to swallow.
Yeah. Yeah. Listen, I mean, selfishly, I look at my family. We look at, now, my younger one, Jacob, he's still going through his process, right? He's only 11, so he's going from that cute little kid to getting to those teenage years. You know, he's getting there. But let's talk about Michael, right? My older son, he's 16 years old now. He started there when he was about 5 years old. When he first started there, I thought, honestly, he was going to get kicked out. He had an attitude problem. He was very stubborn. And you and I had discussions almost daily, sometimes more than once, about him and how things were going. I honestly thought we were going to get kicked out. And to see from that to him now being on the board for the teen leaders is like unbelievable.
It's transformational.
I didn't know it was possible. I mean, and it's not only you. It takes a team to raise
100%.
to raise a kid, but you were such a huge part of that, Mr. James, right? I mean, I literally thought, like, my wife and I were talking, Lydia and I were talking, like, I don't know where we're going to bring Mikey because he's definitely getting kicked out of here. And you didn't give up on him.
He needed to know someone was listening to him.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's from even to this day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's just, and you know, everybody has their own struggle, and you guys have yours. But for me, I don't know. I was able to listen and hear him.
Yeah.
Right. James is one of the most observant and understanding and compassionate and empathetic people, right? Because I've seen him see that.
Yeah.
I've seen the way that you've interacted with and intervened and helped kids. You know, listen, for every tough story that you have, you know, like of somebody you lost, there are literally hundreds of success stories, including my nephew who, oh shit, what are we going to do with him? To, oh my God, he's now working at, you know, volunteering at Chase's place and in the teen leadership program at, like,
Not in the team. He's on the
He's on the
board for the
board.
team. Like,
Right.
he's one of the leaders of the leaders.
Yeah.
It's pretty freaking cool.
yeah, it's amazing.
And he loves
Thank
it.
you. Thank you.
He loves it. He looks forward to it. Listen, it's a lot. The kid's at school all day. He goes to school far away. It's a 40-minute train ride each way. He gets hours worth of homework every night. But he
wants to be
I'm
there.
going to the Y. I got to go to the Y. Can you take me over?
He's gonna be a beast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've known that from day one.
Yeah.
There's no question.
Faux show.
Yeah, and listen, with the guidance of the family, with the guidance of Mr. James and the Y and his teachers and all that,
We do it together.
He's going to be a beast for good,
We do it together, yeah.
Yeah.
right? Because it can go either way.
Oh, you're not
and,
wrong.
And we're fortunate that we have that support, the YMCA, Mr. James, the school system to be able to take that and again,
Parents that won't give up.
correct, not Lex
Families that
Luthor,
won't give
you're
up.
Superman, right?
Right. All right. Enough with the teary crap.
Right.
My bad.
Well, for a second, yeah.
Yeah. So for those watching and listening who might want to get involved with the Y, whether through volunteer work or supporting programs, what advice would you give them and where is the help needed the most?
First, come to our facility. Walk in, say hi. Like we're pretty kind. We're pretty cool people most of the time. Sorry, depends on the day, but we're pretty cool people most of the time. Come in and say hi. Get a tour. I hate to be the one that says it, but if you want to volunteer, come in and volunteer. You can always give your time in any way, shape, or form. We have so many different ways where you can give your time. And if you can't give your time and you're able to somehow sponsor or support a family through our annual campaign, do not hesitate. Anything from 50 cents to $5 million is on the table. Don't worry about it. The more zeros I'll take. It's all good. But it's needed. And these families, there's real struggling situations. I have real situations in after school. I have real situations in camp. I have real families that come to me that say I have to pull my kid like I was, and I get to be the one that's now in Janice and Julie's chair and say, absolutely not. We're gonna figure this out for you. We're gonna give you support. We're gonna make it happen. So if you're ever questioning, hey, well, it keeps the gym going. No. The membership keeps all that going, but 100% of anything that's donated goes right back out. We're one of the only nonprofits that can say that. Salvation Army can't say it. Goodwill can't say it. They use their funds for other things. 100% of everything that goes in goes right back out. And we end up exceeding it. I have to sit, not get yelled at, but I have to sit and get a stern talking to my exec to like, hey, you're exceeding how much you were told you can give out. And I'm like, hey, but we have to give it out. I need, these kids need a place to be. And then guess what? He finds a way to make it work. And we find a way, and it's never a no, it's a we will make it happen.
Can I just say that's one of my favorite things about the YMCA is we make stuff work.
Yeah.
Right?
We will make it.
It doesn't matter.
happen.
We figure it out.
And by the way, when you say we, my brother is on the board for the YMCA
That I
in
am.
Boca, right?
Yes.
So just because obviously not everybody knows that, but
I
now
thought they
know.
did.
But even if you're on the side of the road and you come in and you say, this is an idea I have and this is what I want to do, can't guarantee immediately like snap fingers, but if you got the resources and we can make the resource and it's for the community and it serves, let's do it. And that's that's the attitude y'all know I have, and we make it happen.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I mean, it's so cool to know that in our community we have resources like Mr. James, like the YMCA, like the rest of the team there that makes it happen for kids, right? Like that's
No
and
question.
again, it helps the parents too, right? Because if you know your kid is okay, you're in a better position to do what you need to do. I imagine.
Yes. Listen, as a man who worries all day, every day about the people that I love, the place that I feel safest, I'm like, I could drop my kids off there. They're fine.
Yeah,
They're fine.
100%.
And you know, if anything happens, guess what?
Get the phone call.
What do you say to me? What do you say to me when you call me?
Everything's okay.
That's the first thing he says. Because one time he didn't say that first. I'm like, Mr. James, I need to know my kid's okay first. When I see your name calling me.
So that was my bad.
Yeah.
I said, so now it's, hey, everything's okay. Jacob's fine.
Yeah.
Do you need to call me back?
Yeah.
And then he'll hit me with, no, I got a minute. Okay. Or hit me with the, can I call you back at 2? Yeah, I got it. And then there we're good. But the first thing is, Jacob's okay, Mikey's okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right. All right. And so speaking of kids and being okay, can you tell people that are watching and listening how to get their kids involved at the Y, and maybe talk about a few of the key programs that people may not know about that are there to help them and their family and their kids?
I'm going to go with the same thing I said before. Walk in. A tour is free. You get 2 free guest passes. Come try us for free. There's no commitment. You're not signing up for anything. Just walk on in the doors, A. And B, swim lessons. The importance of swim lessons, the fact that we're in South Florida and you don't realize the amount of drownings and the death from drownings. I have personally pulled 2 kids out of the pool myself just in camp. And I'm not, the lifeguards have definitely exceed that. If you want your kid, especially if they're young, between age 3 to 6, get them involved in youth sports. You don't realize the importance of having a child be able to hear and take direction from somebody that's not mom and dad, not the teacher, and also during moments of perceived chaos, which is numerous, a child's perceived chaos. You don't understand how ridiculously important that is for a child's development. If you're a senior in the community, if you don't have places to go, if you don't have people to connect with, come on in. I got senior classes. My whole entire morning looks like seniors in my facility.
And there's coffee up front.
There's free coffee at the front. if you're a cancer survivor, we have Live Strong programs. If you're struggling with diabetes, we have diabetes prevention.
Parkinson's.
Cancer.
Cancer.
Cancer survivors for Live Strong. Like there's,
Oh, you said this.
no matter where you are in life, from 6 months to 665, there's some place for you. And there's a community that we can connect you with. And don't be stubborn. There's no pride. Go right up to Joan at the front desk and you can whisper us off. Joan's amazing. Hey, I don't have people to connect with.
Right.
Joan,
She'll be like,
Joan and Trish,
She's so
doof,
good. Right.
they'll get you right set
so
immediately.
good.
We have really, really good people. And so just come on in and don't hesitate. And if you can't afford it, still come on in.
Yes.
And don't hesitate.
please. Can I make an ask on this topic too? Please. We need a new basketball court. So I ask people all the time, and I'm going to ask you, we need about $10 million. I mean it. We need to build a new basketball court. There are way too many children on the waiting list, and the only reason they're on the waiting list is because we don't have enough space for them. We need a new basketball court. We need it ASAP. Sports is thriving at our YMCA.
And if you make the donation, I'll put your name on the wall.
Damn straight.
I'll put your name on the wall.
Outside and inside.
I'll make it happen. Don't worry about that.
It'll
Please. We need it.
It'll happen.
We need it.
And so, listen, we've talked a lot about the Y.
Yeah.
Just to kind of give people a little more insight into James and who he is. Do you ever work with kids outside of the Y?
So, I mean, I do like a lot of referrals, but like a private tutoring kind of service, traditionally for kids that are very, very, really struggling in their current situation, and they don't just need a tutor. They need somebody that can really step in and hold them accountable and be that person, more of a, I don't want to use the word mentor, but more of a sophisticated life coaching tutor.
Right.
Okay.
It has to be an insinuating circumstance. I don't want to just entertain you because you want to get better at math.
Right.
You can read a book for that.
Right.
So yeah, that's pretty much what it is.
That's awesome, man. Listen,
The best.
Beautiful, beautiful stuff today. Brought us to tears.
Right.
We laughed. I want to say thank you so much for joining us today, Mr. James. It's always great hearing about your journey and your work at the Y, and I'm so glad that the people get to hear about it because they need to know you. They need to be more involved with the Y. The positive energy you bring to our community is just crazy. We'll make sure to link all the info about the YMCA into the show notes and stuff as well, just so you know.
We can't put anything about Mr. James in the show notes because Mr. James is not on social media.
I will, no, and I stay that way. But I will tell you, for everybody listening, if you have teens that are struggling, you're struggling, be careful what you're focusing on. Because what you focus on is what you see. What you see is what you perceive. What you perceive is how you respond to the world. Be careful how much you focus on the negative things, because they're going to be there regardless. And I'm telling you, if your teens are struggling, I guarantee you they're focusing on the wrong thing.
They're all struggling.
They're all struggling.
They just have different ways of showing you.
Please
Right.
listen to them, and they'll tell you. So I just want everybody to know that.
Yeah. Or if they won't tell you as parents, go see Mr. James.
maybe
They will definitely tell him.
Yeah,
I got you.
right.
I know.
Mr. James is the best. And so listen, to our audience, remember, follow the Digital Mayors podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and YouTube. And if you loved today's episode,
Which you did.
how can you not? Please subscribe, give us a 5-star review. We would love that. And share it with friends, right? More people need to know about the resources at the Y and Mr. James and what they do. And let us know in the comments what other local gems you think we should highlight in the future, right? Because there are some amazing things out here in South Florida. So thank you again, Mr. James. We love you. Thank you to our viewers and our listeners. And we will see you next week for another episode of the Digital Mayors Podcast.
Yeah.
Thank
As
you.
Dr. Christopher Wallace said, and if you don't know,
Well, now
now
you
you
know.
know.
Mother. Oh.
Who's better than you?